by that time, mag-80 na si MFL. So my dear colleagues, please, let's be responsible.
I really do not appreciate the tone na parang binigay na namin lahat. Hindi naman namin hihingi ng bigay na kayo lahat. Isa lang ang gusto ko. So I beg you, carry a little. Let us watch every step we make. How many mistakes have we done?
Mr. President, I'd like to start this day with a brief overview of where we are because we were very close to passing it on second reading yesterday, and a lot of our colleagues graciously joined us again, to be sure that we were complete. So I'd like to take this opportunity that everyone is, most are online and we have quite a number on the floor, to just explain to you the major changes that we have gone through. Dear colleagues, this is a very different product that we have before us today compared to what it first was in Sitira, and then what it was later on when it was reinvented and even renamed to create right after the COVID hit us. And then today, after daily patagalan sa gabi na interpellations and amendments that I have accepted, Mr. President. So I'd like to point out, I think most of you by now know that the major change on the corporate side is the 30% to 25% income tax for corporations. Immediately we lowered by 5%. Hindi na yan 1% per year. But I'm not sure if all of you know that just the other day, we also accepted a major change introduced by the Senate President Pro Temp on the corporate income tax. It is now only 20%. Ulitin ko po para sa hindi nakarinig. 20% na lang ang corporate income tax for those with income below 5 million. It's a big step forward, dear colleagues. Ang daming nag-aabang nito, and for also those who did not catch the heart-wrenching speech or statement of our majority floor leader. He spoke on behalf of all the other SMSE. Siya po ay isang medium-sized businessman na nag-aantay nitong break na ito. Wala silang natatanggap na incentives, wala silang inaantay na favorable income tax returns or any holiday. They are simply toiling away day in and day out. And yung pagbaba ng corporate income tax to 25%, ang laking bagay na. And yet, many who are earning much less, yung mga may mga tindahan, may mga talyer, marami tayong mga kabataan ngayon nag-start ng business from the homes. If they put up a corporation, 20% na lang ang tax. So that's something I am very proud of, and I really thank the leadership, the Senate President, the Majority Floor Leader, the Senate President Pro Temp, who very patiently worked with me so that I could grasp these concepts and discuss it with DOF. I thank you for those interventions, also our Minority Floor Leader. So we were able to put this together over time. Hindi ito minadali, no? We've come in daily to complete this work, to keep checking with DOF and pushing hanggat kaya. And then on the incentive side, I've only mentioned the corporate side. On the incentive side, dear colleagues, I understand that there are still some who do not understand what we are trying to do on the incentive side. Dear colleagues, it's very simple. We have investors who have invested in our country. Some have been here for a few years, some have been here for decades. And the problem is, for a lot of them, we have no idea if the incentives that we have given them, have they paid back in terms of creating jobs, in terms of creating the business environment to spur our economy. We have no basis of knowing that. Wala tayong data. And that's the reason for the creation of the FIRB, for all the IPAs to be able to work with the FIRB to provide the data that is needed so that we can do our cost-benefit analysis, so that there can be accountability. Remember, this is foregone revenues. Katulad ng sinabi ni Majority Floor Leader, ang mga MSMEs nagbabayad ng tax. Ito po, we gave them a special privilege na hindi magbabayad ng tax. All we're asking in return is that there is accountability. Hindi kayo magbabayad ng tax, pero yung mga kondisyon that were given to you, we will now monitor it to ensure that yung pinangako nyong job creation, nandyan. Ang pinangako nyong capital investment, nandyan. Ano naman ang masama doon? So alam ko na maraming nagtatawag na mga governors na concerned sa probinsya. Dear governors, you have nothing to worry about. The magic number of 5% GIE, which was the privilege or the special rate granted to the investors in the eco zones in your areas, will remain. Hindi ho tatanggalin. Ang tagal ho natin itong tinrabaho with DOF. At in the early version, they wanted to make it 10%. It is now 5% pa rin. So yung existing investors nyo will continue, I repeat, continue to enjoy 5%. So kung nakakarinig ako ng aalis sila, ibig sabihin hindi kayo nakinig. Ibig sabihin hindi kayo nakipagpuyat sa amin habang dinidiscuss namin to na we retained the 5% for those who are currently invested here for 10 years. Dati, 2 to 7 years yon under si Tira. Under to create, naging 4 to 9 years. Ngayon, regardless kung sino ka, may 10 years ka. So but by that time, mga 60 years old na si MFL, no? Mga ganon, okay? After that, you can reapply. Kung pasok naman yung business mo, up to 17 years. So by that time, mag-80 na si MFL. So my dear colleagues, please, let's be responsible, no? Wala naman akong inaano naman na I wouldn't know because none of you have called me directly asking for clarifications, which you know I would happily give. Pero please help me explain this to your governors, to your mayors who are calling you, panicking, and then you recite facts to me as if naman tayo dito sa Senate, we would allow something to happen that will close down these businesses. I think that is not fair to our colleagues. Siguro kahit ako, sabihin nyo, I have to defend the DOF position. Pero I work with our colleagues and we have been able to secure that 5% for practically 27 years henceforth. So can we put an end to this miscommunication, this misinformation, that yung binigay natin na package makakasira. Okay? Kasi mas gumanda pa siya for other businesses. Depending on the IPA and the business, some of them are not granted income tax holiday. Ngayon, yung mga bago, magkaka-income tax holiday pa.
Every senator here has a point of view. It may not coincide with one another, but that doesn't mean we're not doing our job, Mr. President. That's what I'd like to say. Mr. President, kasi narinig ko, kinakausap na yung mga governors and mayors. I have to. These are our constituents. Ako lang naman ang kumausap ngayon ng umaga. Nagpaalam ako kay Senate President. Hindi ako nagtatraidor, natatalikod ako. Hindi ko sabihin na gagawa ako ng gagawin na hindi nyo nalalaman. I mean, ayoko na papahin to. But anyway, I just want to make sure that's clear. Now, Mr. President, also, any bill can be vetoed, Mr. President. Why are we afraid of the bill being vetoed? If it's a bad law, the President, that's his prerogative. If it's a good law, we can make the protest. I mean, yung rich bill ko, both houses of Congress, binito yan eh. Sino hindi sasamahan loob? Hindi ako sasamahan loob. Inulit ko ulit. Ilalaban ko ulit. But it doesn't mean that the end of the world will happen if we make amendments to this bill. I just happen to believe that one size doesn't fit all. That's why sinasabi niyong carving out. Iba yan eh. Iba yung Freeport eh. Iba yung special economic zones eh. At iba yung mga competition natin eh. When you say, for example, that binaba nyo yung tax na 20%, Alam po ba ninyo, ma'am, na yung 20% na binaba, pag tinignan ninyo yun, lumalabas na ilan lang yung tatamaan talaga kung talaga tutusin. Sa Hong Kong, sa Singapore or sa China, sa Thailand, wala silang threshold. Dito nilagay nila ng threshold na sana magkano yung threshold nila? 5 million. May threshold na 5 million. Sa Thailand 20%, walang threshold. Sa China in fact, walang threshold. Pag nagbigay ka ng magandang investment na kailangan nila, they're even willing to go down to 15%, Mr. President. Dapat narinig lahat yung mga arguments na yan to enrich our knowledge. Hindi naman sinasabi lahat eh. Hindi naman natin kaya sabihin lahat eh. Kaya sumasagot ako ngayon, yung 20% ng Thailand at saka Vietnam, walang threshold. Ito 20% natin, para tayong inuuto. Ibig sabihin, ito 20%, dapat masaya ka na dyan. Salamat po, magpapasalamat ako. Pero sabihin natin yung totoo. Yung ibang kalaban natin, walang threshold. At ang Singapore, still 17%. Ang Singapore ay 17%. At itala nyo, sa foreign direct investment, nangunguna sila palagi. So, Mr. President, sabi nga ng Korean Ambassador, binaba nyo ng 25%, pero matatalo pa rin kayo sa ibang mga kalaban nyo. Now, I'm not after that, Mr. President. Yung sinasabing carving out. I'm only after yung tinatawag nating FIRB. Masyado ang paghihimasok naman noon na wala nang diskarte ang local officials. I will have everybody know, Mr. President, with all due respect, that Subic, wala naman sumama sa amin eh. Yung Clark, nagibayan. Pinuntahan ko, sinama ko doon sa bill. Kasi ang commerce ng Clark, kaya nabuhay yan unti-unti. In fact, in-spoil ni President Ramos ang Clark. Ginawa niyang Freeport. Sabi ko, hindi po pwedeng gawin Freeport. Ginawa pa rin Freeport. Di ako umangal. Tapos sa intern ni President Ramos, tinanggal. Yun yung sinasabi ng ibang mga tiga Clark na sometime about 19 something, tinanggal yon. And ako nagbalik in law. Kung talaga tutusin, competition namin yan. Hindi, wala tayong competition within ourselves. We should help one another. And that's my point, Mr. President. Bakit ba parang masama ang loob ng Department of Finance na kailangan na sasabihin natin na tanggapin natin yan? Hindi naman natin pwedeng tanggapin yan eh. Yung FIRB, mayroon threshold na 1 billion. Pag bumaba ka, piso po yun. Piso, 1 billion pesos. Sisiw ho yan. Ako nakakakuha ng investment ng araw katulad ng Coastal Petroleum. $100 million, Mr. President. Ibig sabihin, maghihintay pa ako, tatakbo pa ako sa FIRB para mapasa yung bill na yan, mapasa yung Coastal Petroleum, yung mga investment na ganyan. Yan ang mahirap dyan eh. That's another layer of bureaucracy. Bakit hindi natin payagan? Yung mga bigger, lumaki. Hindi naman nakikialam ang gobyerno sa kanila. Yung mga Henry C., lumaki sila. Hindi naman nakikialam ang gobyerno sa kanila. Hindi mo pwede yung local government lumaki nang walang pakialam ang gobyerno. Huwag na natin sabihin, huwag makialam. Meron naman talagang limitation. Pero kung may kusang loob, may malasakit at kapwa-tao yan, at tataas sila katulad ng Bataan. Namatayan. Hinawakan pa ng tatay ni Senator Cayetano yan. Namatayan. Yan ang unang-una, pinakauna, Mr. President. Namatayan. Tapos nakiusap sila kay Senator Ligarda, ibalik yung kung pwede gawin Freeport. Ayaw na yung mga tiga-Bataan. Ako lang ang naglakas ng loob, binigay nila sa akin, naipasa namin yung bill. Ngayon, happy sila. Ang tumulong sa akin ng Department of Finance yung panahon ko, hinarang pa. Lahat ng ginawa ko sa tourism, malimbawa, yung TIESA, pinatay nila ng 7 years, hindi binigyan. Tapos ngayon, tatanggalin na naman natin yung TIESA. Yun ang sinasabing stability and consistency of policy, Mr. President. Bago tayo maging dahas at sundin natin lahat ng sinasabi nila, I'm sure everybody here has a backbone. Pakita naman natin na, hindi kami papayag dyan. Magpaligaw naman tayo, huwag naman natin ibigay lahat. Lock, stock, and barrel. Na dahil gusto ni Sani Dominguez, gusto ng finance, basta. Di kung gusto ng pabito, di ibito nila. Mas gusto ko nga yun para yung papasok na presidente in 2022, meron siyang diskarte na mag-propose. But I'd rather say na dapat, kung mag-a-amend tayo, isa-isayin natin. Huwag naman yung lahat, one size fits all. Tama nga yung sinabi, kung lahat pare-pareho na, ano magkakatalo? Ang dali sabihin location, yung malayong-malayo, nasa dulo ng mundo. Pareho ang, di pupuntahan niya, para rin nagbibigay ka ng, relief. Pagbaba mo sa airport, yung pinakamalapit na evacuation center, yun ang pinakamarami. Pero yung nasa bundok, hindi na inaabot. Yan ang analogy ko dyan. So, and please, I really do not appreciate the tone na parang binigay na namin lahat. Hindi naman namin hihingi ng bigay na kayo lahat. Isa lang ang gusto ko na pinapakiusap ko na pwede naman pagbigyan yung FIRB. Saan ba galing yan? Mr. President, sino uupo dyan? Mga cabinet members. Kami ni Senator General pa nag-uusap. Dapat ilagay natin mga professionals. Panay kabinete na naman yan eh. Bilangin nyo lahat ang mga ginawa nating mga commissions na may mga cabinet members. Yan damakmak lahat yan. Hindi naman nag-a-attend. Ang nag-a-attend yung assistant ng Prinsipe de Judas, Mr. President. Ganyan lahat ang ginagawa niyan. Sa totoo lang. Alam niyo yan. And don't tell me you do not know that. No, madaling sabihin na, hindi ka nakikinig. Sige, hindi ako nakikinig. Pero umaandar yung utak ko po. Nagbabasa rin naman po ako. At ayoko naman sasabihin nyo na, wala ka, absent ka. Hindi po, araw-araw nandyan ako. Ako mahabang mag-interpolate. Kinakansyawan pa ako nung inaanak ko na, napakahabang magtanong ni Sarko. Sinakansyawan ako ni Senator Dillon. But that's why we're here. To deliberate. That's what I meant, to deliberate. To ask questions. To debate. To find out what is the best possible scenario. The most disadvantageous position for our country. If we do not do that, Mr. President, what are we? A Senate of yes men? I don't think we are. I think we're a Senate of honorable men. We call ourselves honorable. But I'll be damned if I'm just going to follow hook, line, and sinker what somebody who has never helped me in Subic, never helped us in Clark, will now do. And now, kukunin pa yung Hanjin, sila raw may hawak. Di ba kayo? Wala. Yung Hanjin pumunta po yan dahil nung ginawa yung airport na Subic, presidente pa lang yung naging chairman ng Hanjin. Kaya nung nakita niya yung patrabaho, na sinasabi ko, pulutin niyo yung mga sigarilyo niyan. Tanong ko, what are you building? Sabi ng mga Koreano, an airport. No. Sabi ko, bakit no? Sabi niya, no, you're building our country. Yun ang sinabi ko, nandun pala yung presidente. Kaya nung naglipat ang Hanjin na maglalagay ng malaking barko, na in our imagination, we became the fourth biggest shipbuilder in the world. Hindi ako inimbita. Galit sa akin si Gloria. At hinanap niya ako kay Gloria. Pinatawag bigla ako ni Gloria. Tapos sabi ko, hindi ako pupunta. Galit kayo sa akin eh. Ano nangyari? They gave me a dinner in Manila Hotel. Sabi niya, you know why we came here? Because of you and your people. Kaya ganyan ang istorya ng investments, Mr. President. Hindi yung incentives lamang. Hindi yung sinasabi nga nila, Cynthia na, sipag at syaga, malasakit, talagang araw ginagawa mong gabi, gabi ginagawa mong araw. Akala natin, papalakpak lang tayo. Open sesame, bukas na. Tanongin ko kayo yung tinanong sa akin ni Congressman Obet. Bakit? Nakapili na ba yung papasok dyan? Pag binaba nyo yung taxes? Paano pipili yan? May mas mababa sa atin. Paano pipili yan? Ang COVID natin, isa tayo sa pinakamataas. Yan ang gusto ko lang paabot. Mahaba na nasabi ko, I can talk till we're blue in the face, Mr. President. Kung talagang ayaw. Kung gusto maraming paraan, kung ayaw maraming dahilan. But there will be help to pay for our people when you start seeing our people go hungry. Do you see sites? Yung mga nahihirapan? Dito sa, nakikita natin sa COVID. Driver po ako. Can you give me some money? Wala akong trabaho, hindi ako makapagtrabaho. I saw that in Pinatubo when I passed by Lubao, Guagua, yung mga ita, yung mga tao. Can you give me some money? Wala akong pera. Maawa na kayo sa amin. Ganyan ba gagawin natin sa tao? Countries grow because of the work ethic. Countries grow because we make good laws. We don't make good laws if we're going to make a great loss. L-O-S-S, Mr. President. That is what is happening here. Forgive me. I am indeed full of passion. That's God's gift to me and my mother and my father's gift to me. And I will use it every time. Because I like to believe that what we're saying is what we believe in. I cannot answer and have somebody tell me, okay yan, akong bahala. No, walang akong bahala. tayo ang bahala. Or we will just be watchers. Outsiders, sabi nga ni Albert Camus, you're an outsider, you're a mere spectator. It happens because people, like sila Henry C., like sila ibang mga tao na mayayaman dito sa Pilipinas, they roll up their sleeves and they work hard. That's how it happens, Mr. President. If we make a good law, better yet. I'm happy binabaan nyo yung 20%, but don't make me feel like I'm indebted because pag sinabi sa akin ilan sasabihin sigurado, 20% yung tax nyo, may threshold kayo 5 million. Sisiw yung 5 million, hindi pinag-uusapan yan. Babaw niyan. Ang pinag-uusapan sa Subic, Mr. President, 50 million pesos, 100 million pesos, $100 million, Mr. President. Can you imagine, ang Subic na bayaran namin yung utang namin ng $40 million sa World Bank, Mr. President? Dahil bumilip sila, binago nila, ginawa yung runway, nakuha namin ng FedEx. Nung umalis ba yung FedEx, sino nandun? Ako ang pumunta ron, sir. Walang pumuntang galing sa national government. Wala akong nakita ang Department of Finance, Department of Trade, Department of Transportation. Pinakita ko, thank you very much. You help us. Thank you very much for the memories. I had tears in my eyes. So I beg you, tayo nito. Let us watch every step we make. How many mistakes have we done from World War II? We lost our reparations payments. We never did anything much about it. We lost our forests. Ngayon, hanggang ngayon, sinisisi natin illegal logging. We blame everybody. But in reality, if it is to be, it must be up to us. If it is to be, it's because of men of vision. I respect Senator Rector when he said, I spent the last 2-3 years to get 150,000 jobs in Batangas, Mr. President. I respect Senator Dillon when he talks about, ang ganda-ganda na, napapakinggan ko kayo pag nakikinig rin ako pagka nag-uusap kayo dyan na yung river, sinabi mo, ililipat na niya yung bahay, mga middle class. Kailangan, in-adjust pa yan, yung mga mahirap, binigyan natin ng lupa. That's how it's done, Mr. President. Not by the say-so. Hangin yun, Mr. President. Hangin yun. Hindi tayo member ng mahangin family, gawin natin. So, Mr. President, forgive me for my passion. Forgive me for my intransigence. And I will be intransigent, Mr. President. But I will swear to the altar of everybody, especially God, that I will not kneel down to a co-equal branch of government just because they say so.
Yes, Mr. President,
Senator Cayetano, yeah.
may I just give a very, very brief response? Mr. President, I would like to thank His Honor Senator Gordon for the statements he made, and there's always something to learn when Senator Gordon takes the floor. And I'd like to clarify that wala ho ako talagang pinaparinggan na hindi nakikinig because I really trust all our colleagues. This is a very technical matter. So I just take time to explain it again in the way that I also needed to be explained to me paulit-ulit din sa staff ko. So ini-explain ko lang kasi baka rin may mga important amendments na tinanggap ako na excited ako about, and that's the only reason why I was saying uulitin ko for the sake of our colleagues and for the other local officials who are listening to us, because I'm so proud and happy about the version that we have now, which is a product of the input of our colleagues. That's the only reason po pinauulit-ulit ko yung sinasabi ko. I never take it against anyone, whether they're listening for a few minutes or a few hours, because I know we have our own way of working on our bills. And also, Mr. President, I'd like to take this opportunity to really thank His Honor, because I for one truly recognize the work that he does.